Welcome back. The Transportation Security Administration was created 2 months after the 9/11 attacks. Now you can't get on a plane in the United States without being screened by a TSA officer. And an officer who works at Bradley was recently honored as the 2023 National TSA Officer of the Year. Greg Deschenes is joining me in Studio A along with William Santos, the TSA Federal Security Director for Connecticut. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, a big honor. You find out, anyone who flies, we see that sea of those blue shirts. We know how many men and women are in that job, and you're the guy for the whole thing. How did that feel?
Feels amazing. Feels great to be recognized and honored for my hard work, dedication to the mission.
Tell us a little bit about, and it's some of the unusual dedication to the mission that was outside of what people think of. We all think we're going to travel, I got to show you my driver's license, you got to maybe scan my bag, but there was something different that you did. Tell us about that work.
I also work with our Assistant Federal Security Director of Law Enforcement, Steve Blindbury, with UAS and laser strikes and outreach with that.
Now, you have the fancy blue shirt on, so you call them UASs. I don't have that shirt on, so I'm just going to call them drones. Is that okay? So you tell me what your work was with drones, because there's kind of an important outreach piece of that, an education piece.
Yeah, we do a lot of outreach with kids' safety fairs, other activities in the community, just getting out there, getting them to learn more about drones and how to properly operate the drones.
Yeah, because it could be something that's a child's toy, but it could be a big risk, and that kind of comes into your mission with the TSA.
Correct. They can get up real high in the air and can get close to airplanes, so we want to keep the airplane safe and the drones down lower to the ground.
Yeah, Bill, tell me about this recognition for someone from Connecticut. Is it a big deal that this spotlight was shown on our folks?
It's a huge deal. If you think about all the airports in the United States, and everybody sees little old Connecticut, right? Greg was put against those thousands and thousands of officers, and what makes Greg different, he's not only an awesome officer in his abilities to ensure that people get on planes safe, but also he's protecting our airspace as well in his contributions with the counter unmanned aerial systems program.
And when you have all the men and women, we see them when we fly to Bradley or fly out of Tweed, and to have that message that this recognition can come for your hard work, is that important as the boss to be able to say, look what happened with Greg?
Absolutely. Greg obviously is a model officer, but we do have over 300 TSA employees in the state of Connecticut with Bradley and New Haven Tweed. Each one of those officers are awesome at what they do. We have a very strong team that dedicate themselves to ensuring that in doing their jobs, they are providing that security and safety to all of the passengers coming through those two airports. Greg, of course, goes above and beyond with that in his other duties that he does to protect our airspace with the counter UAS. And the education part of that process is huge. Dealing with the public, dealing with kids, to ensure that the drone that they get for Christmas or for their birthday, how they can operate it safely. Not everybody knows the laws and the rules, especially operating a drone within the airspace of an airport. And as you can imagine, if you have a drone that's not operated correctly, or it's flying above the ceiling or within the perimeter, it could have catastrophic results if we have a strike.
Greg, tell me about just generally the work of being a TSA officer. And I was struck by, there was one piece of your quote in the press release where you said, pretend it's your family on that plane. Everything that you do, it may seem, if we go through, and again, I keep coming back to it because that's what our viewers have, is we go through the airport, we fly places. It may seem like kind of a mundane job. So is that what you think if it was my family on that plane?
You want to make sure you're doing your job correctly and getting everything right, because the public trusts you, so you want to make sure you do it right. You only got one shot, so. Is
there anything that, you've got a big megaphone today, you're on the most watched Sunday show in Connecticut. Is there something you would want to tell people that might make that trip through Bradley a little easier? Is there some helpful piece of TSA Officer of the Year advice you can give us?
Just know the rules and give yourself plenty of time. Make sure liquids are under the 3.11 rule. Just get there in plenty of time.
I'm sure that's a big part of it, right? You must hear that from all your folks. Time, it probably, things go bad when people are rushing.
Absolutely, and just by forgetting a water bottle in a bag, for instance, we have to pull that bag and screen that bag, so it takes extra time, but also compounds the time for the passengers behind you, right? So it creates those wait times that everybody hates at the airports. So having that education going on to the TSA.gov website, looking at what the process is to ensure that you're bringing the right things with you and leaving the other ones home. It goes a long way for the efficiency of the operation, and as well as the security of it.
And how about just the message to the travelers? Because I'm sure you're proud of those 300 men and women who work underneath you. People might be frustrated if they're late and there's a delay, but they deserve some recognition for people, that they didn't get the award like Greg did, but they're doing a lot to keep us safe.
Absolutely, and thank you for bringing that up, because they don't hear thank you enough. They're men, women, grandfathers, fathers and daughters, and all of that. They're normal people, and a lot of them are veterans that chose this life of work after they've served. They don't hear thank you enough. Yes, we understand people may be late for their aircraft. Maybe they haven't traveled. They don't know all the rules as they should. They get frustrated, and a lot of that comes out. That frustration comes out towards the officers when they're just trying to do their job. And if you look at the job of a TSA officer, it's very complicated. We have very expensive machinery. The computer tomography technology that we use on the x-rays, similar to what you see in a doctor's office, and how they interpret the images, how they're looking for that needle in a haystack in each one of the bags. Their skill set is so honed that they deserve respect. And you got to think about this, and as you discussed before, think about it of your family member getting onto that aircraft. You would want these officers to be the best that they can do and have the respect to do that. And every one of them come to work every single day saying, not on my watch.
Well, and you have one who comes to work every single day and got the recognition of National Officer of the Year. Greg Deschenes, we appreciate you. Bill Santos, thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the work that you do at the airport. We'll keep an eye out for you when we're traveling. Maybe people will recognize you and come over and get a picture with the Officer of the Year. Thanks for being with us, guys.
Thank you.
Before we head off to break, we'd like to extend our well wishes to Pat Eaton-Rob of the Associated Press. You may not recognize his name, but if you've read a newspaper in Connecticut over the past 30 years, you've almost surely read his reporting. From the opening game of the Connecticut Sun season, he covered that just last week, to UConn basketball, to some of the most serious breaking news stories around our state. Pat has long been an ever-present face at news conferences across Connecticut. He announced earlier this month that he's taking a year-long sabbatical from the AP to focus on his health, and he said it just might turn into retirement. Pat Eaton-Rob's reporting left us all better informed about our community, and as he starts this new chapter, all of us here at WFSB wish him the very best.